Stop everything. This story is about responsibility. Listen to me carefully. This is not entertainment. Listen to me carefully. Slow down for a second. This is not something you play in the background while doing something else. This is serious. This is real life. This is about choices that change people forever. Too many stories get treated like noise. This one is different. This one asks something from you. It asks you to pay attention. Because when real moments arrive in life, they don't warn you. They don't wait until you feel calm. They show up fast. And how you respond decides who you are. This is not a story. It's a mirror. This is not just about someone else. It's not about pointing fingers. It's a mirror held right in front of you. You may not see the same details, but you'll recognize the feeling. Pressure, fear, silence, decisions delayed. We all have moments we avoid looking at too closely, but mirrors don't lie. They show us where we stand, not where we wish we stood. And if this makes you uncomfortable, that's not a problem. That's the point. Before you judge them, ask yourself this. Before you rush to judge, stop. Ask yourself honestly, what would you do if life dropped something heavy in your hands without warning? What would fear push you to hide? How long could you carry something before it starts shaping your days and nights? It's easy to speak from the outside. It's easy to sound strong when nothing is at stake. But real strength is tested when the cost is personal. When the choice has weight. This is bigger than betrayal or shock. This goes far beyond shock or hurt feelings. Those are surface reactions. Underneath is something deeper. This is about how people handle responsibility when it arrives uninvited. It's about what happens when silence feels safer than truth. Life doesn't grade us on how dramatic our reactions are. It measures how we act when things get hard. This is not a lesson about pain. It's a lesson about growth and the price of delay. Some people run from truth. Others rise when it finds them. Some people run the moment truth shows up. They distract themselves. They pretend. They disappear emotionally. Others stand still, even when their legs shake. They don't enjoy it. They don't feel brave. But they stay. Because running may feel light at first, but it follows you. Standing your ground feels heavy, but it builds something solid under your feet. Truth always finds everyone. The difference is how you meet it. What happens next is about character, not revenge. What happens next is not about payback. It's not about proving a point. It's about character. About what kind of person you become when no one forces you to choose right. Life reveals people under pressure, not when things are easy, not when praise is guaranteed, but when doing the right thing costs something. That's where this story begins. And that's where the real lesson lives, the weight of a secret. Carried alone, some secrets change the shape of your life. Some secrets are not small. They don't stay hidden quietly. They grow inside, shaping every thought, every choice, every moment. You carry them like invisible weight, and over time, that weight changes how you see the world, how you treat people, how you move through each day. Secrets have power, not because they are dramatic, but because they live inside, quiet but relentless. One secret can bend your life in ways you never imagined. And it isn't about blame, it's about understanding the cost of silence and the pressure it brings. Fear doesn't start loud. It starts practical. Fear isn't always a scream or a storm. Often it begins quietly, practically. You make small choices to protect yourself, to survive the moment. You avoid a conversation. You delay telling the truth. You rationalize your hiding. It doesn't feel heroic and it doesn't look dramatic, but it is fear shaping your actions. Every human being has done this. It is survival instinct, but survival isn't always freedom. Silence may feel safer, but it carries consequences that grow heavier each day. What would fear make you hide? Ask yourself this: what would fear make you hide? What truth would you tuck away just to avoid the weight of facing it? Think about your own life, your own decisions. How often have you avoided confrontation or delayed doing what was right? Fear is a teacher, but it is a harsh one. It makes us question our courage and our integrity. What seems small in the moment can become a burden you carry for years if you don't confront it. Isolation isn't chosen, it's what silence creates. Isolation isn't something people always choose. It is something that builds around them when secrets are held too long. Silence is safe, but it is also lonely. It creates walls between you and others, between you and yourself. It pushes you to move through life carrying weight that no one sees. That loneliness isn't a punishment. It's a consequence. It's the result of hiding, avoiding, delaying. And the longer it stays, the heavier it becomes. A secret is a stone in your pocket. Imagine carrying a stone in your pocket every day. Small at first, almost unnoticeable. But day after day, it presses down, shaping the way you walk, the way you move. That's what a secret feels like. It restricts your freedom. It slows you down. It shapes your posture, your decisions, even your relationships. Secrets are not just hidden truths. They are weight that grows if left unattended. Silence feels safe until it starts to suffocate. Silence may feel like a shield, a temporary comfort, but over time, it suffocates. You begin to notice its pressure, its limits. It invades your peace, your rest, your clarity. What seems safe becomes a cage. And eventually, silence demands a response. You can't keep holding forever. Something has to give. That moment, when you realize the weight is more than you can bear, is the turning point. It forces a choice. 3 years lost, time that never comes. Back time is the only thing you never get back. Time is different from everything else. Money can be earned. Opportunities can return. But time, once gone, is gone forever. You can't rewind it. You can't buy it back. Every hour, every day that passes is a piece of life you will never reclaim. This is not abstract. It is real. Every lost moment matters. Every delayed action, every silence, every hidden truth costs time you cannot recover. Time is precious, and how we use it defines the life we build. You don't get refunds on years. There are no refunds on years. You can't erase the past. You can't undo what was missed. That first laugh, the first word, the first step, these are gone once they happen. When life passes by, it doesn't pause for your readiness, your hesitation, or your fear. That is the tough truth. You can feel regret, yes, but regret doesn't give back the time you didn't act. You are accountable for how you spend each moment. Absence steals. What innocence never knows to miss absence has its own quiet theft. Children, friends, partners, they notice less than you think at first, but over time, absence leaves its mark. Innocence doesn't always understand what is missing until years later. Time lost is not measured by the minutes alone. It's measured by moments that were never shared. That absence shapes people silently, leaving marks that may never fully heal. First steps, first words, first memories, first steps, first words, first memories. Repeat that to yourself. Each one matters. These are milestones you can never recreate. When years are lost, these moments slip past, unrecorded in the way they could have been. Repetition here is not just for drama, it is a reminder. Life moves forward, moments pass, and once they are gone, they belong to memory alone. Intent doesn't erase impact. Intentions are not enough. You might mean well. You might have thought you were doing the right thing. But impact is not measured by intention. It is measured by effect. What happens because of what you didn't say, didn't act upon, or chose to hide, that is what counts. Good intent cannot undo lost years. The truth remains, and it must be addressed. Then the truth arrived, and then it arrived. The moment you can no longer avoid, the secret comes out. Time has passed. Choices must be made. This is the turning point. Everything that was hidden, delayed, or avoided now demands a response. The stage is set for action, and the next chapter begins. How you meet it will define not just the story, but the person you are becoming. The moment everything changed, then one sentence changed everything, then it happened. One sentence, one simple line of truth that cut through everything you thought you knew. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic, but it changed everything. In that moment, nothing would ever feel the same again. Life, as it had been, paused for a heartbeat and then shifted. Decisions you hadn't made yet suddenly mattered. Paths you didn't see before were now unavoidable. One sentence can do that. It can reshape a world in an instant if you let it. Imagine hearing that sentence, imagine it. Hearing that sentence and feeling the weight of it settle in your chest. Pause for a moment and picture it. Every thought racing, every plan questioned, everything familiar suddenly foreign. Your mind wants to run, but your body can't. That's the power of truth when it arrives unannounced. You can't ignore it. You can't pretend it didn't happen. You can only face it. And how you do that is where your strength begins. Shock is quiet before its loud. Shock doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers inside you first. Your hands shake. Your heart races. Your thoughts stumble. But outwardly, you may appear calm. That quiet is the real storm because it's inside where no one sees it. That's where the test begins. Do you let fear take control? Or do you hold steady, letting the shock sharpen your focus rather than shatter it? Real change starts in that silent struggle before the noise arrives. Truth doesn't knock. It kicks the door down. Truth doesn't ask permission. It doesn't wait for you to be ready. It barges in, uninvited, forcing you to deal with it. You can't dodge it. You can't hide from it. It changes plans, shifts perspectives, and demands action. When truth arrives like that, it reveals everything that was hidden. It exposes what is weak, what is strong, and what is necessary. That's the moment that separates those who adapt from those who falter. Rage is easy, responsibility is hard. When faced with sudden truth, rage feels natural. Anger is immediate. You could lash out, you could retreat. That is the easy path. Responsibility, the hard path, asks for control, for reflection, for the courage to act even when it's uncomfortable. Most people choose the easy road, but growth, respect, and lasting change come from taking the hard one. That choice defines character, not circumstance. This is where most people fail. This is the point where most people stumble. They freeze. They react without thought. They avoid making the choice that matters most. Life doesn't pause for hesitation. Decisions arrive whether you are ready or not. Those who succeed are the ones who step forward anyway. They meet truth head on with clarity, courage, and purpose. That's where the story now leads, the place where action begins and everything changes. Every man, every person faces this crossroad. This isn't a man's story. It's a human one. This moment isn't about gender. It isn't about who you are on paper. It's about being human. Every person at some point faces a choice that demands everything from them. Life tests courage, integrity, and honesty. It doesn't care about age, status, or comfort. It only measures response. The lesson here is universal. The weight of responsibility is the same for everyone. What matters is how you rise when the test comes. Life doesn't ask if you're ready. Life isn't polite. It doesn't check if you feel prepared or equipped. It drops challenges in your lap without warning. You can't control timing. You can't rehearse. You can only respond. Every opportunity to do the right thing arrives unannounced. And that's where true strength shows, when you act despite fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Waiting for readiness is a trap. Action is where growth begins. When truth shows up, uninvited truth will arrive whether you want it or not. You can ignore it for a while, but eventually it demands attention. The moment truth arrives is not about drama, it's about response. Do you rise or do you run? Do you face it with courage or do you hide behind excuses? This is the test every person encounters in every life. The question isn't whether truth comes, it's whether you meet it the right way. Run and carry resentment, rise and earn respect. You have two paths. One is easy, run. Avoid the challenge, avoid responsibility, and carry resentment, regret, or guilt with you. The other is hard, rise. Accept the weight, do what must be done, and earn respect, not from others, but from yourself. Long-term strength is built from the hard choices. Short-term comfort is deceptive. Choose wisely because the path you take now shapes the person you become. Who are you when life doesn't ask permission? Ask yourself, who are you when life doesn't ask permission? Who are you when no one is watching, when no one is expecting your decision? Your true character is revealed in these moments. The easy road is tempting, but it doesn't define you. The hard road may feel isolating, but it shapes who you're meant to be. Self-reflection isn't optional here, it's necessary, not fair. Not easy, still yours. Life isn't fair, life isn't easy. That doesn't matter. What matters is ownership. What matters is stepping into responsibility, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's unexpected. The challenges, the choices, the weight, they are yours to bear. And how you bear them determines your story, your strength, and your future. Step forward, claim it, own it. The journey is in your hands, what he could have done, and why most people would. The easy path always looks reasonable when faced with a difficult choice. The easy path always looks inviting. It promises comfort, no conflict, and no immediate discomfort. It whispers that avoiding responsibility will protect you, even if only temporarily. Most people take it. It feels natural. It feels safe. But safe doesn't mean right. Safe doesn't mean growth. The easy path is designed to tempt you, to distract you from what matters. And every time someone chooses it, they trade short-term comfort for long-term regret, denial, anger, disappearance. The usual exits most people react in predictable ways: denial, pretending it didn't happen, anger, lashing out at anyone or anything nearby, disappearance, walking away physically or emotionally. These are human instincts, and there's no shame in recognizing them, but they are also dead ends. They solve nothing. They delay the inevitable. Life keeps moving, truth keeps pressing, and avoidance only multiplies the consequences over time. Walking away is easy. Walking away is simple. It asks nothing of you. No courage, no reflection, no action. It feels light at first, almost effortless. You leave the problem behind and you tell yourself it will stay there. But life doesn't work that way. The consequences follow you. The choices you ignore catch up. The easier path is often the one that burdens you the most in the long run. Running feels light until it starts following your running may feel freeing. You think the weight is gone. You think you escaped. But the truth doesn't disappear. It finds a way back. Running leaves a shadow you can't shake. Guilt, regret, unfinished responsibility, they all return quietly or suddenly. The metaphor is simple. What you avoid will follow. Ignoring problems only ensures they grow heavier until you can no longer ignore them. Excuses are comfortable prisons. Excuses are easy. They protect you from discomfort. They explain your inaction. But they are also prisons. They keep you locked inside fear, doubt, and delay. Every excuse strengthens the walls. Every rationalization reinforces the cage. Comfort comes at the cost of freedom. Real life is not lived in excuses. It's lived when you step outside them, even when it is hard. Even when it costs us something, but he chose differently. He faced the same temptations. He could have walked away. He could have run. He could have hidden, but he didn't. He chose responsibility. He chose action. He chose the path that demanded courage, the path that built strength. And that choice changed everything, not just for him, but for everyone affected. That decision set the stage for what comes next, the decision that shocked. Everyone he didn't shout. He stepped up. He didn't make noise. He didn't yell. He didn't demand attention. Instead, he stepped forward, quietly, calmly, with intention. That's the first mark of real strength, action over show. People expect drama in moments like this, but strength doesn't announce itself. It acts. It moves. It meets challenges without fanfare. He understood that power isn't in volume. It's in control. Responsibility without applause. True responsibility asks for nothing in return. It doesn't seek recognition or reward. It simply asks you to do what is right, even when no one is watching. He chose that path. He acted not for approval, not for applause, not for thanks. He acted because it had to be done, and that's silent. Commitment carries more weight than any public declaration ever could. Expectation said one thing, action did another. The world expected one reaction. Maybe anger, maybe retreat, maybe blame. But he responded differently. His actions broke expectations, and in doing so, they commanded respect. People notice when reality defies assumption. Action overrides speculation. This is how character shows itself, not in what people think you'll do, but in what you actually do. No blame, no drama, just duty. There was no pointing fingers, no excuses, no dramatics. Just the work that needed to be done. Simple, clear, unwavering. Repetition here is intentional. This is the behavior that defines him. Others may talk. Others may react. But duty demands nothing but steady focus, steady resolve, and steady courage. That clarity shapes every decision after. Real strength shows. Up quietly strength is not loud. It does not parade itself. It shows up in subtle ways. In the small acts that matter more than the grand gestures. In steady hands, clear eyes, and calm minds. Real strength is the invisible force that steadies chaos. It rewrites situations quietly but powerfully. People may miss the initial act, but its impact lingers and grows. One decision can rewrite who you are. One choice can transform a life. One act of courage, one step into responsibility, can define identity, rewrite reputation, and reset the course of the future. That single moment becomes a reference point, a foundation for every choice after. This is what his decision did. It didn't just solve a problem. It became a turning point, proving that character is built in decisive, courageous action. Responsibility changes everything it touches. Responsibility never stops with one person. Responsibility isn't contained. It doesn't end with a single decision or a single person. When someone chooses to step up, the impact spreads. Actions ripple outward, touching lives in ways we don't always see. One person who decides to act with integrity changes not only their own path, but the paths of everyone around them. Families, communities, workplaces, they all feel it. Responsibility creates movement, inspires response, it sets standards. What you do doesn't stay with you alone. It echoes beyond your immediate reach. What changes when someone finally shows up? Think about this. What changes when someone finally shows up? The presence itself shifts the atmosphere. Problems that felt insurmountable begin to feel manageable. Trust begins to rebuild, slowly but surely. People notice action more than words. Showing up demonstrates courage, commitment, and care in a way that promises alone never can. Presence is proof. Presence inspires others to act. to step forward, to carry their share. When you choose to show up, you become the spark that lights change. Trust isn't rebuilt in speeches. It's rebuilt in repetition. Words are easy. They can comfort, they can explain, they can sound convincing. But trust is not restored with speeches, no matter how well delivered. It's rebuilt through consistent action day after day. Repetition matters. Showing up, keeping promises, doing what you said you would. These small acts accumulate into credibility. One good day doesn't erase past failure. One honest conversation doesn't heal every wound. Trust grows slowly, quietly, and only through repeated proof. Leadership isn't announced, it's demonstrated. True leadership doesn't need a title, a badge, or an audience. It is shown in what you do when no one is looking. Leadership is demonstrated by taking responsibility when it's hard, by guiding without coercion, and by modeling what right action looks like. People follow those who act, not those who speak. Leadership through behavior creates stability, respect, and confidence. It teaches others that doing what is right matters more than looking right. Words make promises, behavior keeps them. Anyone can make promises. Anyone can speak of change, hope, or responsibility, but words alone don't carry weight. Behavior keeps promises. What you consistently do defines who you are, not what you say. Every action matters. Every small decision to follow through strengthens credibility. Words are seeds. Action is hardest. If you say it but don't do it, you build nothing. If you act, you build trust, influence, and legacy. Doubt not promises. Presence. It comes down to this. Not promises, presence. Being there when it matters. Showing up when others have doubts. Taking responsibility when no one notices. That is the essence of influence, leadership, and trust. Presence turns intention into reality, words into meaning, and action into impact. Responsibility, when fully embraced, changes everything it touches. A child was watching the whole time. Children see more than we think. Children notice far more than we realize. Their eyes are open, their minds absorb what adults often take for granted. Small actions, subtle expressions, moments of patience or frustration, they remember it all. They observe not just behavior, but intention, energy, and tone. Every choice, every reaction leaves an imprint. What may feel insignificant to you is shaping the world they understand. They learn love before language, before they can speak. Children feel before they can explain. They watch. They learn the language of love through gestures, through attention, through presence. How you act teaches them more than anything you say. Consistent care and integrity create understanding beyond words. They notice who shows up, who steps aside, who acts with courage. This is the foundation for their understanding of trust and connection. What you do teaches louder than what you say. Your words matter, but your actions matter more. Every promise kept or broken, every moment of integrity or avoidance sends a clear message. Children absorb lessons from deeds first, explanation second. You cannot rely on words to shape their understanding. They respond to what they witness. Every step you take, every choice you make, is a lesson in character. Legacy is built in ordinary moments. Legacy isn't made in grand gestures or rare events. It's built in ordinary moments. The quiet act of showing up, the daily choice to act with care and responsibility, that's what children remember. Repeated small moments accumulate into a lasting impression. Those seemingly insignificant choices echo in the lives of those observing. Consistency creates trust. Presence creates influence. Someone is learning from you right now. Someone is always learning from you right now. Even when you think no one is watching, every decision, every reaction, every display of courage or hesitation sends a message. You're teaching them how to act, how to handle responsibility, how to respond to truth and challenge. The impact is immediate and enduring. They remember who showed up at the end of the day. Children remember presence over words, action over intention. They remember those who were consistent, those who acted when it mattered, those who faced challenges rather than ran from them. Your influence is more powerful than you know, and what you choose to show them today will shape their understanding. For a lifetime, this isn't about the past. It's about the next move. This is where the story becomes yours now. The story stops being someone else's. This is where it becomes yours. What happened before cannot be changed. But this moment, this choice, this step forward, that is yours to claim. The past is reference, not ruler. The next move is your responsibility, your opportunity, your chance to shape the path ahead. What truth are you avoiding? Ask yourself honestly, what truth are you avoiding? What do you know deep down but refuse to face? Avoidance only delays the inevitable. Avoided truths have a way of returning louder, heavier, and more unavoidable. Facing them is uncomfortable, but it clears the way for action. Courage begins when honesty meets decision. What responsibility are you delaying? Every delay carries a cost. Every avoided responsibility grows weightier. Life doesn't pause for readiness or comfort. What are you postponing? What action is yours to take that you've been putting off? The question isn't if you will act, it's when. The answer you give today shapes tomorrow. Avoidance always sends the bill later. Avoiding responsibility may feel easier in the moment, but it comes due. Life has a way of collecting debts silently. The longer you wait, the heavier the payment becomes. Avoidance is not neutral, it carries consequence. Facing responsibility now is the only way to prevent later regret. Ownership isn't about shame, it's about power. Taking responsibility isn't about feeling guilty or small. It's about reclaiming control over your choices. Ownership transforms fear into agency, hesitation into action, and passivity into purpose. When you take responsibility, you are powerful. Not over others, but over your own life. You can't rewrite yesterday, but you can author tomorrow. The past is fixed. You cannot erase it, undo it, or rewrite it. But the future is yours to author. Every decision you make today shapes the world you will live in tomorrow. Your next move is a declaration of who you are. Choose wisely. Step forward. Act with courage. And create a future you can stand behind. Stop waiting to be ready. Ready comes after. Action, let's be honest. No one feels ready, let's be honest. No one ever feels completely ready. The moment challenges appear, fear whispers, are you prepared? Do you have enough time, enough skill, enough courage? And that whisper can freeze us in place. Hesitation is natural. Doubt is human. But waiting for the perfect moment is a trap. Life doesn't wait for readiness. Action comes first, confidence comes second. If you wait to feel ready, you may never move at all. Comfort feels safe until it keeps you small. Comfort is seductive. It tells you everything is fine. It tells you that staying where you are is enough. But comfort is dangerous. It keeps you small, hidden, and limited. Growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. Change doesn't happen in ease. To expand, to rise, to take responsibility, you have to step into discomfort. The longer you cling to safety, the longer your potential remains trapped. Small steps forward are better than perfect preparation standing still. Readiness is a myth. Action creates it. There is no readiness waiting to be found. Readiness is a result, not a prerequisite. You become ready by doing. You become capable by acting. Every moment you hesitate is a moment you forfeit growth. Action builds skill, builds courage, and builds confidence. The myth of readiness keeps people waiting. The truth? Action is the doorway. Take the first step and readiness follows. Every step forward teaches you what you need to know. Growth begins the moment you move. Growth isn't scheduled. It isn't awarded. It begins the moment you move. When you step forward despite fear, despite uncertainty, you begin to transform. Every decision to act stretches your abilities, strengthens your resolve, and reshapes your life. Growth starts with motion. Standing still is comfort. Moving, even imperfectly, is progress. The first step ignites change. The second step builds momentum. And before you know it, you've become stronger than you were yesterday. Step up anyway, step up. Even if fear grips you, even if hesitation whispers louder than courage, step up anyway. Repetition matters. Do it again and again and again. Each time you choose action over avoidance, you strengthen habit, resilience, and character. Courage is not absence of fear. It's presence of resolve. Step forward, show up, do what needs to be done, not because you feel ready, but because the moment demands it. Courage isn't loud. It's decisive courage. Doesn't need a spotlight. It isn't flashy or loud. It is quiet, firm, and decisive. It is the choice made in the stillness, the action taken when no one is watching, the decision to do what is right, even if it's uncomfortable. True courage is measured in resolve, not volume. Step up decisively and the path becomes clear. Every act of courage reinforces the next, building strength one choice at a time. Final call, choose the hard right over the easy. Wrongness is the line between who you were and who you become. Here it comes, the line that separates who you were from who you are about to become. Everything up to this point leads to this moment. The choice is yours, comfort or responsibility, avoidance or action, fear or courage. This is not just a decision, it is a defining point. The person who steps across it with clarity and integrity begins a new chapter. The person who hesitates risks staying in the old story. Responsibility is what defines you. Your choices define your life. Your willingness to take responsibility shapes your identity. The world notices action more than words. Every decision to do the right thing, even quietly, even without recognition, builds the foundation of who you are. Responsibility is not an obligation. It is your signature on life. How you respond when challenged, when truth appears, when responsibility knocks, that is what defines you. Easy choices feel good. Hard choices build you. Easy choices are tempting. They feel safe. They spare discomfort, but they rarely transform you. Hard choices are uncomfortable, demanding, and often invisible to others. Yet those are the decisions that shape character, strength, and respect. What feels good now may cost you later. What challenges you now will empower you forever. Choose the path that builds, not the path that soothes. Character is revealed under pressure. Pressure doesn't create weakness. It reveals it. And it doesn't reveal only weakness. It also reveals strength. Character is not tested when life is easy. It is forged under strain, stress, and urgency. The real measure of who you are shows when everything is on the line, when no one is watching, and when the easy path is most tempting. Step into pressure and your character emerges in full. Do not wait for applause. Do not wait for recognition. Do not wait for thanks. Integrity doesn't need validation. Courage doesn't ask for approval. Doing the right thing is its own reward, and it defines you long after the noise fades. Step forward for the right reason, because it is right. Applause is optional. Responsibility is mandatory. Do the right thing, especially when no one expects you to hear, is the ultimate truth. Do the right thing, especially when no one expects it. When the world is silent, when challenges feel invisible, when fear whispers louder than support, act anyway. Your choices matter, your actions echo, and your presence shapes the future. Step forward, choose responsibility, and let your life Reflect the courage, strength, and character that you were capable of all along. The right path is not always easy, but it is always yours to take.